If I asked you what hurts, would you tell the truth, or would you smile the way you always do and say, I'm fine? Let's start with something honest. Some of us aren't living. We are surviving. We smile, we work, we take care of everybody else, and we carry pain in silence like it's our duty. Pain from betrayal, pain from abandonment, pain from love that wasn't returned, pain from parents who didn't know how to love us right, pain from a life that hasn't looked like the one we dreamed of. And yet here you are, breathing, trying, waking up every single day. You deserve to hear this. Healing is not weakness. Letting go is not giving up. Living freely is not selfish. We were not born to be emotional storage units for trauma. We were not built to drag old memories into every new day, but we do because we're afraid that if we let go, we lose proof that it happened, proof that the pain was real, proof that we survived. But hear this carefully. You don't heal by forgetting what happened. You heal by finally stopping it from controlling your life. There comes a moment, a quiet, trembling moment, when your heart whispers, I'm tired. I want to be free. That's the moment this talk is for. Over the next steps, we're going to walk through healing, not by pretending, not by forcing positivity, not by ignoring the scars, but by owning them, honoring them, and releasing what no longer deserves space inside of us. This is the journey back to yourself, to the version of you that loves without fear, to the version of you that speaks without trembling, to the version of you that finally believes, I deserve peace. It's because you do. Let's talk about the truth we don't say out loud. We don't hold on because we love the past. We hold on because we fear what comes after it. The unknown, the empty space, the silence. Pain becomes familiar, and familiarity becomes safety. That's why so many of us cling to memories that hurt. People who left broke us, because somewhere inside, letting go feels like losing a part of ourselves. We say, if I let go, who am I without this? If I move on, does that mean what happened didn't matter? If I stop hurting, do I stop remembering? So we keep the pain, we replay the moments, we rehearse the wounds, and slowly we build a prison made of memories, a prison where the door is unlocked, but we are too afraid to walk out. Listen carefully. You are not required to keep suffering just because someone else caused the pain. You are not obligated to stay wounded just to prove it happened. You can honor your story and free your heart. Healing isn't betrayal. Letting go isn't erasing the past. It's finally stopping the past from owning you. Imagine this. Every time you think of the person who hurt you and your body tightens, that's a chain. Every time you can't sleep because of a memory, that's a chain. Every time you doubt your worth because of someone else's mistake, that's a chain. But chains are not destiny. Chains can break, and the first crack in every chain starts with one truth. I am allowed to let go. You may not feel ready. You may not feel strong. You may not even believe it's possible, but just by listening, by being here, you've already taken one step outside the prison. And I promise, when we're finished, you will not look at your pain the same way again. Healing doesn't begin when the pain stops. Healing begins the moment you stop hiding from your truth. Some people think healing is loud, big, breakthroughs, dramatic moments, tears on the floor. But most healing starts quietly. It starts in the smallest decision. I don't want to feel like this anymore. You don't need permission. You don't need an apology. You don't need the person who hurt you to suddenly become better. Healing is not a team sport. It is a decision you make with your heart, your courage, and your breath. And here's the part that scares us. To heal, you must feel every emotion you've been avoiding, the anger, the disappointment, the grief, the shame. It's still living inside you, not because you're weak, but because you never felt safe enough to release it. You were taught to be strong, to hold it together, to not be dramatic, to pretend you were over it. So the pain stayed, but because you survived the only way you knew how. But now your heart is tired of carrying what your mind keeps replaying. Healing begins when you allow yourself to be honest. Yes, it broke me. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I deserve better. This is not bitterness. This is truth. And truth is medicine. Your scars are not evidence of shame. They're evidence of strength. Proof that you lived through what was designed to destroy you. So today, whisper to yourself, I am allowed to heal. I don't need anyone else to understand. I don't need to stay hurt to prove it mattered. When you speak your truth, even in a whisper, the healing begins. Not tomorrow. Not when life is perfect. Not when someone apologizes. It begins now. There is a terrifying moment in every healing journey. The moment you finally let yourself feel the very thing you've been trying to outrun. not bury, not numb, actually feel. We're afraid of our emotions because no one ever taught us how to hold them. We were told, don't cry, be strong, move on already. So we learned to survive by shutting down. We closed our hearts to protect ourselves. But the problem with closing your heart is simple. You can't numb pain without also numbing joy. You can't silence fear without also silencing love. You can't bury grief without burying a part of you. Your emotions are not the enemy. They are proof that you're alive. Courage is not pretending you're unbothered. Courage is being honest enough to say, it hurt, it changed me, and I am still here. Some of us fear that if we start feeling, we'll never stop. But emotions don't destroy you. Resisting them does. The tears you swallow become heaviness in your chest. The anger you push down becomes exhaustion in your bones. The love you never got to give becomes an ache that follows you everywhere. So today, give yourself what no one else ever did permission. Permission to grieve what you lost. Permission to be angry at what wasn't fair. Permission to break down without feeling broken. Because only a strong heart can feel deeply. Releasing pain is not forgetting it happened. It's refusing to let it own the rest of your life. You don't have to cry beautifully. You don't have to heal gracefully. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. The moment you allow yourself to really feel the walls start to crack and light finally gets in, you're not falling apart, you're opening up. Letting go is not an act of weakness. It is one of the most powerful decisions a human being can ever make, because letting go means this: I am choosing myself, not choosing revenge, not choosing the past, not choosing the story that keeps rewriting your worth. Letting go is choosing your peace over your pain. But here's the part no one warns you about. Letting go is not a single moment. It's a process, sometimes slow, sometimes messy, sometimes painful. Some days you'll feel free. Some days you'll feel pulled back into old memories, old wounds, old versions of yourself. That does not mean you failed. It means you're human. Letting go is learning to say, that chapter is closed. I don't belong to that pain anymore. I honor what happened, but I don't live there now. You don't let go by erasing memories. You let go by removing the emotional handcuffs attached to them. Because what's hurting you isn't the past. It's the grip the past still has on your heart. Letting go is accepting the truth without needing a different ending. Maybe you never got the apology. Maybe the closure never came. Maybe the person who hurt you sleeps peacefully at night. You still deserve peace. Closure isn't something someone gives you. It's something you create for yourself. You don't need their explanation to heal. You don't need their regret to move on. You don't need their approval to live freely. Some people come into your life as blessings. Some come as lessons, but none were meant to imprison you. Letting go isn't about whether they deserve to stay. It's about whether you deserve to be free. And you do. Every time you choose peace over pain, you reclaim a piece of yourself the past tried to take. You are not walking away from your story. You are walking toward the version of you that survived it. There is a word we avoid because we misunderstand it: forgiveness. Some people hear that word and feel anger rise in their chest. How can I forgive someone who never apologized? How do I forgive someone who knew better and still chose to hurt me? How do I forgive when the damage can't be undone? Let's make something very clear. Forgiveness is not a gift to them. It is freedom for you. Forgiveness does not mean you're saying what happened was okay. You trust them again. You welcome them back, or you pretend it never hurt. Forgiveness simply means you are done bleeding over the same wound. You are choosing to stop carrying what your heart was never meant to hold forever. Think about it. Every time you replay the betrayal, you relive it. Every time you think of what they did, your body reacts like it's happening again. Your mind remembers the moment, and your heart pays the price. That's why forgiveness isn't about the past. It's about your future. It's saying, I refuse to let this pain control me anymore. Some people don't deserve your forgiveness, but you deserve peace. Forgiveness doesn't require conversation. It doesn't require reconciliation. Sometimes it's silent, private, personal. It sounds like this: I release you. Not because you earned it, but because I am tired of suffering. Because the more you hold on to hate, the more it becomes a chain around your energy, your joy, your sleep, your spirit. Forgiveness breaks that chain. You don't do it all at once. You do it breath by breath, moment by moment, choice by choice. And one day you wake up and realize the pain is still part of your story, but it's no longer running your life. That is forgiveness, not softness, not weakness, not approval, freedom. Living freely is not about having a perfect life. It's about having a free heart, a heart that doesn't wake up every morning feeling heavy, a heart that isn't chained to memories, people, or pain, a heart that breathes without apology. So what does it take to live freely? It takes permission. Permission to release the expectations, the pressure, the guilt. Permission to say, I don't have to be who I was when I was hurting. Because here's the truth. You are not the same person who went through that pain. You are wiser now, softer in some places, stronger in others. Your scars aren't signs of damage. They are signs of growth. Living freely means you stop defining yourself by the chapters where you suffered. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your trauma. You are not the mistakes you made while trying to survive. Living freely means you start saying yes to life again, yes to joy, yes to new people, yes to new experiences, yes to loving without fear. It means you stop apologizing for your boundaries, stop shrinking to make others comfortable, stop carrying guilt for choosing yourself. You don't need permission from the world to be happy. You are allowed to again. You are allowed to love again. You are allowed to dream again. Some people will not like the healed version you because the healed version you is no longer easy to control, manipulate, or break. But that's okay. You were not born to stay small. Living freely means waking up one morning and realizing my past is part of me, but it is not my prison. It means walking through life with your shoulders back, not because nothing hurt you, but because nothing owns you. Freedom is not the absence of pain. Freedom is the presence of courage, and you already have it. There comes a moment after the hurt, after the letting go, after the silence, when you look at yourself and ask, what do I do now? Because healing is not just about releasing pain. It's about rebuilding the person who lives after the pain. And rebuilding yourself is not quick. It's not neat. It's not a straight line. Some days you'll feel strong. Some days you'll feel lost. Some days you'll wonder if you're healing at all. That's normal. Rebuilding means learning yourself again. What makes you happy now? What drains you? What do you no longer tolerate? What do you deserve that you never demanded before? Rebuilding means choosing new habits, new thoughts, new boundaries, because the version of you that survived the storm is not the same version that will walk into your future. You deserve friendships that feel safe, love that doesn't require you to suffer, days that aren't driven by fear. Rebuilding is saying, I am not broken. I am becoming. You start small, you take care of your body because it carried you through the pain. You speak kindly to yourself because the world wasn't. You celebrate tiny victories, getting out of bed, saying no, resting, breathing. Healing will feel like 1,000 small steps, not one big leap. And sometimes you look back and think, I thought I'd be further by now. But hear this, you are further, you are stronger, you are softer in the right places and tougher in the ones that matter. Rebuilding yourself is an act of love, not for anyone else, for you. You are creating a life that feels safe inside your own chest. You lost parts of yourself when you were hurting. Now you get to meet the parts you never knew existed. The version of you that is growing now is the most powerful version you've ever been. A free heart looks different than the one that was wounded. It speaks gently to itself. It trusts slowly, but it loves deeply. It no longer chases people. It attracts peace. A free heart doesn't ask, why did they hurt me? It asks, what did I learn about myself? Because of it, a free heart doesn't need revenge. Revenge is what pain wants. Peace is what healing chooses. A free heart knows not everyone deserves access. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every storm deserves to be remembered. Because freedom isn't forgetting the past. It's refusing to drag it into every tomorrow. The beauty of a free heart is this. It no longer seeks love with desperation. It gives love with clarity. A free heart knows its worth. It knows what it brings. It knows what it will never allow again. And the world can feel that. You walk differently when you're free. Your voice becomes softer, not weaker. Your eyes shine brighter, not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer carrying what was killing your spirit. You laugh again, not the polite laugh, but the real one, the one that comes from a place that finally feels safe. You start to dream again. You start to trust yourself again. You start to believe that your future can be bigger than your pain. And the most beautiful part, a free heart becomes magnetic. It attracts better people, healthier love, calmer days, kinder conversations, and a life that feels like breathing, not surviving. You didn't come this far just to heal halfway. You came this far to live, to try again, to feel joy without the fear of losing it, to love without the fear of being broken. A free heart is not a miracle. It is a choice. A choice you are making one breath, one day, one act of courage at a time. If you have listened to every word up to this moment, there is something important you need to hear. You made it. Maybe not to the finish line, maybe not to the life you're building, maybe not to the peace you dream of, but you made it here, to awareness, to courage, to truth, and that matters. Healing doesn't happen in one conversation. Letting go doesn't happen in one night. Living freely doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with choice. A choice to stop carrying pain like it's your responsibility. A choice to stop begging for closure from people who never deserved access to your heart. A choice to stop shrinking yourself just to keep others comfortable. This is the moment you choose yourself, not softly, not secretly, not halfway, fully. You don't have to erase the past to live a beautiful future. You don't have to forget what happened. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You simply have to refuse to let it be the reason you don't live. You survived what was meant to break you. Now you get to build a life that honors the strength it took to survive, a life filled with quieter mornings, softer thoughts, kinder people, safer love, deeper breathing, and finally peace. You are no longer the version of you that lived in the pain. You are the version that walked out. The world may never know how hard it was, but you know, and you deserve what comes next. So this is your permission slip to heal without guilt, to let go without apology, to live freely without needing permission, because you are not broken, you are becoming, and your story is not ending. This is where it finally begins.